A Virginia judge has reportedly ruled Johnny Depp's legal team can have an expert look at Amber Heard's phone records to examine if assault photos were fabricated. Johnny Depp's granted Amber Heard's phone records. Johnny Depp and his legal team have reportedly been granted access to Amber Heard's phone records in an attempt to prove their claim that the actress faked photos of abuse. A Virginia judge in Fairfax County granted Depp's attorneys access to the records to have an expert assess whether photos showing Heard's alleged injuries in 2015 were fabricated. Ms. Heard's counsel has repeatedly used these phony photographs at deposition. Benjamin Chu, an attorney for Depp, said in a court filing, according to the outlet. Attorneys for Heard who have denied Depp's claims, and Depp did not immediately respond to people's requests for comment. Page 6 reports, Chu alleged in the filing that when the LAPD responded to the 2015 incident between Depp and Heard, they found no injury upon Ms. Heard and no disruption to the penthouses. Johnny Depp has been granted access by a court to his ex-wife Amber Heard's phone records. Depp plans to use the records to prove that Heard forged the injuries he allegedly gave her. Depp is suing Heard for libel and claims that she doctored photos to make it look as if the Edward Scissorhands actor assaulted her. Depp's lawyer said Ms. Heard's counsel has repeatedly used these phony photographs at deposition. He also claimed that the LAPD disavowed the photographs and did not depict what they saw. The Pirates of the Caribbean actor is suing over an article Heard wrote for the Washington Post in which she described being a victim of domestic violence. Though she never mentioned Depp by name, Heard has previously claimed that she suffered 2 black eyes, a broken nose, and a broken lip at the hands of Depp. The court ruled that Depp's legal team can have an expert look at the phone to examine if the photos were fabricated. In response, Heard's attorney stated, Amber remains willing and able to support the authenticity of her evidence, and her IT forensics expert has cooperated in this effort. In sharp contrast, Mr. Depp has been unable to produce even the audio tapes from which he leaked a partial out-of-context portion, much less any support for the authenticity of any of his evidence. Depp and Heard were married between 2015 and 2017. In November last year, Depp lost a different libel case against his son, which labeled him a wife-beater. Ms. Heard and her friends then fabricated photos that she used to obtain an ex parte TRO temporary restraining order and a $7 million divorce settlement, Chu alleged in his filing via Page 6. Heard's attorney Ellen Bradhoff told Page 6 that Heard welcomes the opportunity to present her evidence in a trial by jury in a court of law in 2022. Bradhoff added, "This is a dirty strategy after having been found to have committed multiple significant acts of domestic violence against Amber Heard by Depp's legal team to present false claims while avoiding accusations of defamation because of judicial immunity. While legal hearings are protected from defamation, they are not protected from leaks to the press, which is exactly Mr. Depp's intention, even though he lost every one of these arguments in the UK trial." His first choice of forum, Bradhoff stated, "He's trying to interject out of context and already proven to be false pieces from his unsuccessful efforts in court to attempt to deceive the public, pretending these issues have not already been fully tried in his court of choice, where he lost. Now, in yet another court of law, he is unable to submit his own evidence because he has nothing to prove his claims." Depp is suing Heard for defamation after the Anchorman actress wrote an op-ed for the Washington Post in 2018 about surviving domestic violence. Heard never named Depp in an op-ed, but she did accuse the actor of domestic violence amid their 2016 split, which he denied. In November 2020, the Pirates of the Caribbean star lost his case against the British tabloid The Sun, which called him a wife-beater. The court upheld the outlet's claims as being substantially true. In August, a judge granted Depp the right to pursue his lawsuit against Heard, denying the actress's supplemental plea to dismiss the case after Depp lost his libel lawsuit. Heard's plea to dismiss Depp's lawsuit filed in Virginia in March 2019 came as the actress argued the UK judgment should hold away on the proceedings in the US since both lawsuits center on allegations of the actor as an abuser, 3 million months after Heard's op-ed was published. Depp filed a defamation lawsuit against the actress for $50 million. At the time, Depp's lawyer said in the lawsuit, Mr. Depp never abused Ms. Heard. Her allegations against him were false when they were made in 2016. They were part of an elaborate hoax to generate positive publicity for Ms. Heard and advance her career. In response to the lawsuit, Heard's rep told People in a statement at the time, "This frivolous action is just the latest of Johnny Depp's repeated efforts to silence Amber Heard. She will not be silenced." Mr. Depp's actions prove he is unable to accept the truth of his ongoing abusive behavior. But while he appears hell-bent on achieving self-destruction, we will prevail in defeating this groundless lawsuit and ending the continued vile harassment of my client by Mr. Depp and his legal team. Following the loss of his libel case against The Sun, Depp attempted to appeal, but two UK justices refused his application for a fresh trial on the grounds that a second hearing was unlikely to produce a different outcome. Depp also agreed to exit the role of Dark Wizard Gellert Grindelwald in the Harry Potter spin-off series Fantastic Beasts. Johnny Depp has been allowed to move forward with his defamation lawsuit against Amber Heard. The actor, 58, is suing his ex-wife over a 2018 Washington Post op-ed where Heard, 35, wrote about surviving domestic violence. Heard never named Depp in an op-ed, but she did accuse the actor of domestic violence amid their 2016 split, which he denied. In court documents obtained by People on Tuesday, a Virginia judge granted the actor the right to pursue his lawsuit, denying Heard's supplemental plea to dismiss the case after Depp lost a UK libel lawsuit against British tabloid The Sun. In November 2020, the Pirates of the Caribbean star lost his case against a British tabloid which called him a wife-beater. The court upheld the outlet's claims as being substantially true. Heard's plea to dismiss Depp's lawsuit filed in Virginia in March 2019 came as the actress argued the UK judgment should hold away on the proceedings in the US since both lawsuits center on allegations of the actor as an abuser. Instead, Fairfax County Chief Judge Penny Asgarati rejected the actress's plea, saying while Heard's op-ed and The Sun's article may be similar in that they related to claims of abuse, the statements made by the tabloid and Heard's in her op-ed were inherently different. Heard argues she was in privity with his son because they both had the same interest in the case. However, for privity to exist, Heard's interest in the case must be so identical with the son's interest such that the son's representation of this interest is also a representation of Heard's legal right. Asgarati wrote in her ruling, the son's interests were based on whether the statements the newspaper published were false. Heard's interests relate to whether the statements she published were false.